Hey everyone, my name is Dan Kolansky. Welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to be talking about using K2 to audit third-party applications. I think we're pretty excited about this webinar. I know that I am. I can tell you that these scripts that we're going to be talking about today, we've been working on since way back the middle of last year when K2 was just first coming out. So it's literally been pretty much months in development. And I know a few of you had signed on to the webinar. We tried to do a little bit earlier last month, and we had decided to take them back to the drawing board for a little bit and do a little bit more polishing of them. So we're back, and we have this set of scripts today that's really going to, I don't know, it blew my mind. I was really excited about it. Just a little backstory. I think that on why these scripts were here, or why these scripts were created, and it was really born out of a growing desire within our company to kind of show you how to use the software. I mean, it's one thing to be a hosting company and, to deliver hosted Kaseya, and Kaseya is just such an incredibly powerful program that we're just trying to put together a solution that shows you not just how to actually have Kaseya, but how to actually use it effectively in your business, because, who cares what it can do if you have no idea how to do it. So in a moment, I'm going to have Chris walk you through what we're going to be covering on the call, but right now I'll just tell you, by and large, that these scripts are pretty much one of the best examples that I've really seen of what a true application of Kaseya is in a quote-unquote managed services environment. So let's cover a couple ground rules. As far as questions, I see a couple of you already put some questions in. Just to answer your question, Bill, we will be having a copy of the slides sent out, but we can't send it till after the webinar. So you'll have to follow along on the screen. If anyone would like a copy of the slides that we're doing today, then all you just have to do is just shoot me an email at dan@virtualadministrator.com, and I'll just go ahead and send you a copy of the webinar back. As far as questions is concerned, I'll probably pipe up if we have a question that's important enough during the presentation itself. If it's not something that we think that we want to answer right away, then we'll probably wait till after. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the call. And otherwise, just feel free to type in your questions at any time. And, I might actually pop in and answer them direct via text as well. Tonight we have two people on the call. We have Chris Morey, who, we've already heard from, and then Chris Chase. Chris Chase is basically our senior script engineer. So some of you have met him, some of you have not. To those who have, he's a really good guy. To those who have not, we refer to him as the script god. So make sure you get your titles right. Chris Chase does about 90% of the scripts that come out of Virtual Administrator, probably more. He is really, really skilled with scripting for Kaseya, and he wrote all the scripts that we're doing tonight on the call. And then Chris Amore, who we're trying to get into the call here. He is president of Virtual Administrator. He does just about all of the training for our partners, and he is just, again, he's incredibly skilled with working with Kaseya, and he's also really good at just presenting things in a way that it's easy to understand. So with that, Chris, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, and you can take over from there, and hopefully we won't get bumped from the webinar.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking your life into your hands here, I feel like, with this, man. And it started from the beginning, too, that you were on the call earlier. It's just going to be one of those days, I can tell. All right, so listen, we are excited about this. Thank you for attending. We've been working on this particular presentation and the scripts here for quite a while. And again, what we're going to try to cover is we want to talk about basically the patching of third-party applications. Historically, all we've had to worry about, or where the major focus has been for years, is keeping Windows patched. And Kaseya does a pretty good job about that. But, over the last, I would say probably the last year to 2 years, we've seen a shift away from malware attacking Windows and Windows vulnerabilities, because Microsoft actually has done a pretty decent job of keeping that up to date, to where they're starting to attack third-party applications. And we kind of felt it was time to figure out how to really do a good job of auditing your network to make sure that that these applications are up to date. whether you think that the auto update, the little pop-ups that come up, and you might think your customers are updating, but are they, or are those updates working, or do you want to push those updates out yourself? So we're going to talk about basically how to audit your network and actually how to generate reports that you can show to your customer or use internally to be able to show that you are, in fact, up to date. And then we're going to talk a little bit about remediation on some of the ways of actually, just go over maybe some of the scripts that we have to actually update these things. Our original thought was that we were going to make the remediation its own standalone webinar. And we may still do that at some point. I'm not going to get too deep into it today unless people have more questions or whatever, but I do want to touch on it a little bit. So first thing I wanted to do just before we get started is just throw out there a quick poll question just to see who's using what, because we have a lot of different users and we have people that attend that aren't even VA partners, I know sometimes. So I just wanted to just throw this up on the screen real quick. And basically, if you could, just answer that. Just give me an idea of what version of the software you're on, just so I know, if I see a lot of you on one particular version or another, I can kind of throw some things in there for you. So if everybody can vote real quick, we'll get this closed. It's just a click of the mouse. You can do it. See, I made you guys wake up now. You can't do your email in the background. Didn't tell you there was going to be a quiz. All right, I'll stop there. So looks like, yeah, a lot of people on K2. Most everybody's on K2. A few people on the older systems. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let's move on. Dan, did I lose you? Are you still around?
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay,
I just want to make sure that by me logging in, I didn't screw you up there. Okay.
Nope.
So we've got that information. So, the question comes, why are we doing this? Why are we worrying about patching these third-party applications? And what do we mean by third-party applications? Well, what we're talking about is basically, the major packages that people use every day, starting with like Adobe Reader. And I did some research in preparation for this, and you guys can do the same thing, and I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't already know. But there is a ton of vulnerabilities that are basically being focused towards these major products. Adobe Reader, I mean, here's a review from the first half of 2010, just basically saying that it's being hit, and there's plenty more of this. Adobe Flash, I'll let you guys just read this. Basically people focused on attacking these different products. Zero-day vulnerabilities. The Flash player has become important as well as Reader, and it's also helping to get into the PDF. Shockwave. So another advisory came out. Shockwave player. Now this was, I think, kind of one of the most interesting slides I found, and it's basically looked at all of the releases, the patch releases that were done, and you can see what's gone on in starting in kind of March of 2010 there. It's just escalated unbelievably. So it's over 400% increase over what we saw in the previous years. And that's why I think this is really so important to kind of start, really focusing on. Otherwise, we're leaving our clients' machines open to getting infected, and some of the problems that some of you may be having may be because of the vulnerabilities that are in these machines. This was kind of an interesting statement. Basically 2010, the year of the vulnerability, and particularly focusing on, again, Adobe products. And I guess in that second paragraph, they're saying if 2010 was the year of vulnerability, 2011 it only promises worse. So, again, this is kind of why I felt like we need to do this. This is the guy that's the head of research at Kaspersky Labs. So Java, obviously, we're looking at Java as well. Cisco blog, basically these exploits have been dominating the landscape now. So. Anyway, so the question becomes, obviously you see this, you guys know about this stuff. I know I'm not probably telling you anything that you don't already know, but I just wanted to reinforce it. So the question comes, what do we do? How do we take care of this? And the answer to that, we think at the beginning is, hey, we start to audit. Let's find out what we have. That's been the beauty of Kaseya all along, is that we have that ability to audit networks. Even if we don't want to change anything, we can audit them. So what we've done is we went out and we've spent so much time. Chase is just really, in and out of helping you guys with specific scripts and coming up with things and keeping things up to date. We've been working on this project for months. I mean, hundreds of hours probably put in to creating these scripts. They may sound like they're easy and they even may be simplistic to some extent, but believe me, they're not. It's a lot of research and a lot of testing to try to get them to the point where they are now. And I'm sure there's even more work that may need to be done, and you guys can let us know if you find some oddball things. But what we're going to do is, we've basically gone out there and we've created scripts to allow you to audit all of those different things. All the Adobe products, the Flash Reader, Shockwave, Firefox, just to see what version of Firefox, be able to audit the Java, how many different versions of Java you have on your machine, the QuickTime. And then we also created some scripts just to show you what antivirus is installed, and then to be able to run a check disk and a defrag, kind of a pre-scan, obviously, just scanning and letting you know what the status is on that machine so you know if it needs attention.